Tonight, we're live in Washington as America celebrates 250 years of this great nation. A special 4th of July edition of Nightly News starts right now.
The epic celebrations across the country. The fireworks spectaculars that have already begun, including this amazing display over Mount Rushmore, the parades, both big and small, and our exclusive coverage of the tall ships.
I couldn't have asked for anything better.
As they made their historic sail into New York Harbor.
This has been just the most spectacular morning.
The biggest maritime gathering in U.S. history. Our Al Roker on board as they raised the flag.
We just had the most amazing moment when they raised the flag.
Millions turning out across the country, braving those brutal high temperatures.
It's a scorcher.
The violent storms overnight, forcing some communities to adjust their plans. And the new storms threatening events tonight. Tonight, across the country, the celebrations are ramping up, including our preview of the biggest American fireworks show ever. As we celebrate 250 years of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
This is a special edition of NBC Nightly News, celebrating America's 250. Reporting tonight from the nation's capital, here is Tom Yamas.
And good evening from right here in Washington, D.C. We are in our nation's capital tonight as America hits a historic milestone. 250 years since we declared independence. The crowds at the National Mall filling in right now for what is expected to be the biggest fireworks show ever. It will be the culmination of the many celebrations across the country on this historic day. 250 years since our founding fathers declared independence and took that critical first step towards creating the United States. Across the country today, we saw Americans of all stripes coming together, uniting in their love of this great nation. And the images have been stunning, like this flyover at the Statue of Liberty. Look at that, streaming red, white, and blue. And by sea, these remarkable images from New York Harbor of that giant parade of tall ships from more than 20 countries, the biggest maritime gathering in American history. And there was this scene last night, a stunning fireworks show over Mount Rushmore. That monument, of course, dedicated to our greatest presidents. We also saw these fireworks over the St. Louis Arch as well. Simply stunning. The weather not letting the celebrations go off without a hitch, though. The parade here in D.C. canceled because of the heat, and new storm systems tonight are threatening fireworks across the East Coast. We'll all time it out in just a moment. But we want to begin with the very best of America, with small towns and big cities across the country pulling out all the stops to celebrate our milestone birthday.
It's an incredible 250 years of America, and from the water to the skies, to cities and towns across the country, Americans coming out to celebrate. It all kicked off at midnight with that countdown in Times Square. 3, 2, 1. The first time the ball has ever dropped when it's not New Year's Eve. And this morning, that breathtaking sight in New York City's harbor. The historic parade of dozens of tall ships from 20 countries. A towering fleet honoring America. After making their way up the East Coast for Sail Forth 250. Our own Al Roker on board the Coast Guard cutter Engel.
It has been a thrilling day, beautiful weather, beautiful breezes, and this is basically the World Cup of the maritime world. Right there you see the Italian ship going by and 46 others just like it, making for one of the greatest maritime parades in the world.
Sailors perched up high along the masts, and others along the decks waving to the massive crowds taking it all in. Watching the largest maritime gathering in American history.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. I couldn't have asked for anything better than this.
And above it all, incredible flyovers from military aircraft. Those astounding fighter jet formations, streaming red, white, and blue to salute America. Look at that view as they fly past the Statue of Liberty. Wave after amazing wave in the skies. More than 100 Allied and U.S. aircraft taking part, led by the famous Blue Angels. Later, Vice President J.D. Vance landing with his 3 kids on the USS Kearsarge, sailing right there in New York Harbor. The vice president, who's a Marine Corps veteran, then swearing in re-enlisting Navy members.
All of us will need to do our part to create the next 250 years of American greatness.
Speaking near the same spot where 250 years ago today, British troops were looming, as American colonists bravely declared their independence.
George Washington read aloud the words of the incredible Declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Even today, 250 years to the day later, these words command a tremendous power over us as Americans.
The president overnight with that dramatic flyover. Air Force One streaking right above Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills of South Dakota. President Trump with a passionate tribute to American values and achievements.
At 250 years, America is the oldest republic on earth. We are the freest people on earth. We have the most righteous and enduring Constitution on earth. We are the strongest and most powerful country on earth. And by the grace of God, the United States of America is the most successful, most accomplished, most exceptional nation ever to exist in human history. And it is great to be your president.
And this responds to what he calls the unfair criticism of the U.S.
As for those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage, who tell our children that we live on stolen land or that our heroes were oppressors, they're doing something much worse than slandering our past. They are slandering and attacking our future.
Then a spectacular fireworks display over that stunning monument to our greatest presidents. Also overnight, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, marking the first 4th of July parade of the weekend, bringing out this massive 250th birthday cake balloon.
America 250.
While today, more celebrations for America underway across the country, from Coronado, California to Rockland County, New York. People pouring outdoors despite those sweltering temperatures. Around 150 million people tonight under heat alerts. Some heat indices soaring to a scorching 110 degrees.
Oh my God.
The heat fueling powerful overnight storms in New Jersey. In Philadelphia, where it all began more than 2 centuries ago, it was still hovering around triple digits today. NBC's Valerie Castro is there.
I'm outside Independence Hall in Philadelphia, where 250 years ago, our country's founders signed the Declaration of Independence right inside. Today, thousands gathering to celebrate in America's birthplace.
Including Jeff Wilkins, who came out dressed as a Revolutionary War-era American militia member.
A lot of people want to take pictures with you. It's emotional.
Yeah, it really is. It's just overwhelming, really, to be part of the, the nation's birthday today. I'm humbled.
Earlier in Philly, an amazing drone show spotlighting key moments in American history, including the Marine landing at Iwo Jima. And officials bearing a time capsule right there in front of Independence Hall with artifacts from all U.S. states and territories. A snapshot of today's America to be opened in 2276. Out west, a massive American flag draped over the Hoover Dam. And that's the Declaration of Independence projected onto the Sphere in Las Vegas. In the skies, one pilot in a Cessna aircraft going viral, tracing a message for America's 250th birthday with this flight pattern over Ohio seen on flight radar. And NBC's Maggie Vespa is in Chicago.
America 250 fever is alive and well in the Midwest. Massive crowds have been packing Chicago's iconic Navy Pier ahead of tonight's fireworks display, the largest and longest in the show's history.
And they're even honoring America's big birthday in Tokyo with an extravagant fireworks display, including an image of President Trump. Here in Washington overnight, the Washington Monument illuminated with a picture of America's first president. And more celebrations out at the Great American State Fair on the National Mall. including even more impressive flyovers by military aircraft.
Everybody needs to experience the 4th of July in Washington once in their lifetime.
Crowds braving the heat and prepping for that historic fireworks display tonight.
A record breaker, so we'll be shooting over 850,000 pyrotechnics. It's going to be the best.
We look forward to it all. And of course, those daytime parades giving way to nighttime fireworks. But the weather is proving to be a huge unknown tonight and could force more cancellations and delays. I want to bring in meteorologist Amelia Draper from our NBC Washington station. And Amelia, who's under threat tonight?
Well, Tom, from the central United States all the way to the mid-Atlantic and parts of the Northeast, we have 83 million people at risk. The biggest concern is going to be winds gusting up to 75 miles an hour. And this includes in areas like the District, Philadelphia, even up into New York. We could also have damaging hail about an inch or larger. The good news, there's a low-end risk for any tornadoes. But that being said, it's not just severe thunderstorms. It is the extreme and dangerous heat that continues. Look at this. We have nearly 150 million people at risk for some serious heat, either being under heat advisories or extreme heat warnings. Here in Washington, likely our hottest July 4th ever on record, hitting 101 degrees today. Now, the good news is this heat starts to break down tomorrow on into Monday.
We need that cool down. All right, Amelia, we thank you for that. And just steps from where we are tonight, President Trump is set to give a major speech tonight, capping off the celebrations for America's 250th birthday, with questions over whether he'll turn it into a campaign rally. Gabe Gutierrez joins us now live. And Gabe, you have new reporting on what the president will say?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. We've seen several military flyovers already, and we really expect the president to tout American exceptionalism. A senior White House official telling me that this is expected to be a speech unlike any that he's ever given, that'll look back at America's 250-year history since its founding and reference the stories of American heroes to help tell it. But, Tom, as you know, is often the case with President Trump, one of the major questions is whether he will go off script. Yesterday at Mount Rushmore, he did speak a lot about history, but he also got political warning of what he called communist threats. Now, the president has also joked that he'll give a long speech tonight, despite the heat, saying that he'll do it just to show he could. Tom?
Gabe Gutierrez out on the National Mall, where we're already seeing that weather turn. Gabe, we thank you for that. Still ahead tonight, our Richard Engel with rare access inside of Iran as millions mourn their former leader killed by the U.S. And the major announcement from Serena Williams today. We'll tell you what she said when we return with our special July 4th edition of Nightly News celebrating America 250. Stay with us. We're back now with our rare access inside of Iran tonight at the public funeral for that country's former supreme leader. Richard Engel is there.
As Iran's Ayatollah and former supreme leader killed by the U.S. and Israel lies in state in one of the biggest public funerals in history. Today, for the first time, the Iranian public was allowed to visit and mourn.
I'm now inside the biggest mosque in Tehran. There are tens of thousands of people here. You can hear them shouting. They are saying, revenge, revenge, revenge. All of them shouting in one voice that the supreme leader's death must be avenged. Now, the classic Iranian cheer, death to America. President Trump said that the Islamic revolutionary system that has been in place here, the Iranian regime, would be changed, would be overthrown. That never happened. In fact, many Iranians say that a new generation is in charge now, a new generation that is even more hardline than the previous one.
35-year-old Amin Nabikani says the anger is not directed at the American people, but the government.
Do you think Iran won the war? That's the feeling. That's the feeling on the street from the people, that they won the war. They won a decisive victory.
Not everyone in Iran supports the government. This country is deeply divided. But the opposition that took to the streets and faced a deadly crackdown just months ago is now nowhere to be seen. The U.S.-Israeli war seems to have made the government's grip on power even tighter. Richard Engel, NBC News, Tehran.
And our thanks to Richard and his team for that brave reporting. We're going to be back in a moment with the woman who just made history rowing solo across the Pacific as our special coverage of July 4th and America 250 marches on. We are back now with a look at this incredible stream of red, white, and blue in the air today for the 4th of July. Love that. Serena Williams making some news at Wimbledon and her comeback officially over, at least for now. She announced today she won't play doubles with Venus because of her knee. Serena posting this video on social media of her walking with a bandaged knee. You see it right there, saying she feels heartbroken to drop out. Also tonight, this was the moment Kelsey Fendler made it to Hawaii, rowing all the way from California alone. She's believed to be the first American woman to make that grueling journey solo. She's also believed to have broken the speed record for women and men. It took her nearly a month and a half at sea. We come back tonight here on Nightly News. Our cameras across the country capturing the sights and sounds of America's 250th birthday. How this milestone is bringing Americans together, like these crowds watching the tall ships today. Our special July 4th coverage returns in just a moment. Finally tonight, from right here in the nation's capital, for America's 250th anniversary, we bring you the sights and sounds of celebration of an incredible nation and a historic idea.
From the streets of our small towns in the heartland,
USA! USA!
to the skies over our national symbols, to the waters around our biggest city. Today's celebrations mark the anniversary of not just a nation, but of an idea. A republic, independent from an inherited monarch. A nation governed by representatives chosen by her people. Our American experiment, declaring from its inception, we are endowed with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That one unifying principle at the heart of the joy today in Baltimore. In the beat of this parade. In upstate New York. In the music today in Rhode Island. And with this generations gathered together in San Diego. For 250 years, our experiment has been challenged. A union once torn apart, a depression that shattered a generation, world wars that tested our principles, and conflicts that tested our conviction, attacks from within and from abroad that questioned our security. But for 2.5 centuries, this great nation has endured. Through trial and error, the American experiment continues. Each generation tasked with the responsibility to carry the torch towards a more perfect union. Celebrated today, 250 years of an idea that changed the world.
And from all of us here at NBC News, we wish you and your family a happy 4th of July. That's Nightly News for this Saturday from right here in Washington, D.C. The Macy's 4th of July fireworks are coming up tonight at 8 p.m. Make sure to watch and don't miss our coverage of tonight's of America's 250 celebrations on our streaming network, NBC News Now. I'm Tom Yamas. We thank you so much for watching on this special holiday tonight and always. We're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.